Next on Relevant Radio, your favorite weekly appointment. It's time for the Nazareth Project. Faith, marriage, and family talk for the everyday Catholic. With your host, Lydia Lococo.
Good morning, Archdiocese of Milwaukee. Welcome to the Nazareth Project, Faith, Marriage, and Family Talk for the everyday Catholic. Stress on everyday with your host, Lydia Lococo. So glad you're here. Lots to chat about today. I am really excited. I know I always say this, but I am really excited to get to our interview with some great guests. I'm going to remind you that the name of the show, so we just said it, is the Nazareth Project, Faith, Marriage, and Family Talk for the Everyday Catholic. And it's not just some random name. We didn't sit around and just throw darts. Our office, we're an office of the Archdiocese, has a long name. And don't blame me. Blame then Archbishop Dolan, who created the Nazareth Project. Our name is the Nazareth Project for Marriage and Family Formation. So that's a long name for an office. It's the title of our office because that's our mission. And I believe that families matter so much that on my signature page of any email that I send out is the pretty now famous quote by St. John Paul II, "The destiny of humanity passes through the family." And I think there are probably some people out there who were raised in some pretty secure, stable, faith-filled families who would really, truly understand that deep down in your DNA. So I think we all know that this is true, and yet our programs to help impoverished segments of our society, many of them incentivize the very behaviors that perpetuate that poverty, including discouraging work, maybe, by providing more income than a low-wage job would provide, and diminishing or ending benefits if they became employed. The most damaging of all the negative effects, though, has been this deterioration of the family due to many what I would call anti-marriage incentives in some of our social programs. So the social programs are great and maybe needed, but they are a disadvantage to encouraging people to become and stay married. For example, a single mother will lose between 10 to 20% of her welfare income if she gets married. Therefore, many people will not get married in order to keep that higher income. Single-parent households, relative to two-parent married households, have been shown to have devastating effects on children. And I would add here that I was raised myself from the age of 3 by a single parent, a widowed mother. I spent my entire life living under the poverty line. So I feel free in saying, of course, we want two-parent households. Doesn't mean we're not defending and promoting and supporting single moms. But according to the census, the poverty rate for single parents with children was 35.6%. The rate for married couples with children was 6.4%. According to Robert Rector, who is a senior research fellow with the Heritage Foundation, the absence of marriage increases the frequency of child poverty 700%, and thus constitutes the most reliable predictor of a self-perpetuating underclass. It's not enough that we keep a plan of prayer in our lives. We have to actively look for ways to reach out to those people that Mother Teresa called Christ in distressing disguise. And we're admonished by our church, by the gospel, to do active corporal works of mercy. And to save all of you time, and I hope this is why you appreciate me, I'll give you your catechism primer today, and I looked up the corporal works of mercy. I know all of you know them. I always leave one or two out. So I looked them up for all of us. Would you like to hear them? Here we go. Feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, visit the sick, visit the imprisoned, and bury the dead. Which brings me to the dilemma of how to go about helping those around us, but in a way that stabilizes their families and gives them long-term advantages. Today's guests are two women who literally walk the walk and talk the talk, and they have spent their entire lives helping the impoverished, but seeing each person as a child of God and worthy of human dignity and deserving of being treated as a whole person. In this way, they help these people out of poverty by helping them to build and form and support their families. I'm so excited to invite you into our studio and share with you my visit with Pat Parks and Patricia Jessup, who helped to run the Working Boys Center in Quito, Ecuador. We're going to take a quick break now, and when we come back, I'll be chatting with Pat Parks and Patricia Jessup. You are listening to the Nazareth Project on Relevant Radio. We'll be right back.
If you can picture it, American Landscape can make it happen. You can rest assured that the haven you have in mind can happen with American Landscape. Transform an ordinary yard into an outdoor living space everyone will love. Since 1973, American Landscape has been serving residential and commercial property owners with certified professionals. Go to relevantradio.com, keyword landscape. relevantradio.com, keyword landscape.
More and more people are talking about Lydia Lococo's Nazareth Project on Relevant Radio. If you're a business owner, your message could be airing right here, right now. With 2 stations now serving the Archdiocese and covering all of Southeast Wisconsin, your message will be heard by thousands of potential customers. Contact is quick. Send an email to businessbuilding@relevantradio.com. Build awareness, brand your business, and drive traffic. Businessbuilding@relevantradio.com.
We're back with the Nazareth Project on Relevant Radio. Here's your host, Lydia Lococo.
Well, welcome. I'm so excited for you listeners to meet our 2 new guests. The Working Boys Center, a family of families, was founded 50 years ago this year to address the needs of the boys working on the streets, shining shoes in Quito, Ecuador. Soon, the center evolved to support the entire family, and through educational, social, health, and technical programs, the center helps family members help themselves. They learn a trade so that they can be valued, contributing members of society, and so that they can learn to support themselves and in turn support others. The Working Boys Center is supported by the Center for Working Families, which is the stateside fundraising arm located right down the road in Brookfield, Wisconsin. And I am joined today by the 2 powerhouse women behind the Center for Working Families, Pat Parks and Patricia Jessup. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is going to be fun to interview 2 people at one time. I'm outnumbered. Pat Parks, I have down on my little piece of paper under a title that you are a volunteer extraordinaire and slave to the cause. Do you want to elaborate on that? What's your history with the Working Boys Center?
Well, my sister's the co-director, co-founder who went there in 1967, and through her not so subtle intervention, I ended up changing my life and going from being a math teacher to being volunteer who founded their stateside fundraising organization. It was called Family Unity, and so I began to raise money and host events. And
your sister is a woman religious, right?
She's a BVM nun, Sister Mary Miguel Conway. The BVMs are in Dubuque, Iowa, their mother house.
Okay.
But she's in Quito where she's been.
So she went off to Quito, but she kept her sister busy the whole time.
Oh, for real.
And have you ever counted how many times you've been to Quito?
You know, no, but I know it's over 40.
Yeah.
I don't know how many. It's over 50 because I've been there 1 year 3 times. I don't know exactly.
And you're the mother of 10 children. That's no small job. 3 adopted from Ecuador.
Right.
And about 2 years ago, give or take, you handed the reins over or brought in a new partner. However, I can only imagine. I'm getting looked from Patricia. There are stories we will not get on air. But the executive director is Patricia Jessup, your daughter. Hello, Patricia.
Hi, thank you for having me.
And tell me your history. When did you start with the Working Boys Center?
Well, I'll be 50 soon, so pretty much when I was born, everyone in our family, all 10 children, have been associated and enslaved also, in a good way though, to the Working Boys Center in Quito, Ecuador, because of my parents. And we just would help my mom at home when we were kids with mailings to thousands of people that needed to be sorted and folded and stuffed, and that grew and grew. We'd have parties, and so we'd greet people at the door and make them give a check before they got in, and then in high school, there were parties at Marquette High School and local places that we were all, once again, enslaved, and we'd invite our friends, and our friends thought it was fun, and we thought it was like, oh my gosh,
So it's
really?
a real apostolate in the sense of apostolate, right?
Yes.
That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? Renewing
family
the
of
world, right?
families.
A
Yes.
family of families.
Yes.
Which takes me to our first question. So the family as the fundamental unit of society, why is this center so unique in its approach to service to the whole family? And I'm going to invite both of you to jump in. We'll start with Patricia.
I would say it's unique in that Father Halligan realized, starting out with young boys, that he was having them come away from their families and giving them kind of a place to get away and escape. And that wasn't the way to make the change in the world. The family was important, and so he quickly realized that and raised money to add the whole family, build a facility where the whole family can come. And he continues to believe today, and so do we, that the source of change is through a mom and a dad and the children all embracing change together.
And that goes along with John Paul II, St. John Paul II, saying that humanity passes through the family, right?
For real.
The future
Yeah,
of the,
definitely.
Yeah, right. And you mentioned in passing, and I'll volley this back to you, Pat, Father Halligan. Who's Father Halligan?
Father Halligan is a Jesuit from the Bronx who founded the Working Boys Center in 1964, as Patricia said, as an outreach to boys, shoeshine boys. In Latin America, there was a serious problem with street kids, which you probably are aware of, most people are now. And so Father began it that way. And when my sister went, they expanded it to the family, to the entire family, for the reasons just stated by Patricia. And Father Halligan believes that poverty is not an economic problem. He believes it's a moral problem. And the only way that we're going to rid the world of poverty is by helping people change their lifestyle, a whole new way of life, and that's what he offers the family.
That's a pretty radical thing to say, isn't it?
It is, but that's what he has said since the day I met him.
Do you ever get pushback on that from people?
Oh,
I bet.
yeah, it wasn't the most popular
Right.
statement, but he really,
But it's true.
well, he believes that there are people, obviously, who couldn't make it without help. So, of course, we offer many things, 3 meals a day, grade school, trade school, medical and dental care, things our people would not be able to have access to. But along with that, we insist upon many obligations. To have this program, you must have many obligations. So, Patricia, why don't you say something about?
So in other words, I come to Father Halligan, and I'm a poor family. So just gimme, and I want to walk off, and that's going to be great. Free handout every day. And he would say, we don't want to do that because why?
Absolutely not. Two things. One, he says, God didn't make the world without enough stuff in it. There's enough stuff, food, money, essentials to go around. It's just a matter of all of us making sure that everyone gets their, not fair share, but enough to survive. And secondly, if we're going to help you, you need to own that, and you need to help yourself. You need to help clean at the mission. You have to take a shower. You have to go to school. If you're of age, you have to work and save money. And in order to get out of this predicament that you're in, if you follow all those rules, eventually you will be, as my mom said, independent and move on from this. It's not a handout where you continue to be dependent upon this mission. You graduate from it, and the people behind you will not be coming back to the mission.
So this is the 50th anniversary. Are there success stories where?
Oh, many. We have an impact study on our website, which was
Which
done.
give the website right now while we're thinking about it.
www.c4wf.org, Center for Working Families.org.
Is it C, the number 4?
The number 4, yep.
Okay, so say it again.
C4wf.org.
Okay, so on your website.
Yeah, and the impact study, which was suggested by a man from Carnegie Mellon who was most interested in this program and believed it should be implemented in the U.S. Unfortunately, he dropped dead at a very young age before he was finished, being involved with our project. But one of the things that he commissioned was an impact study by an independent agency, and that's on the website. I think they documented 6,000 families. They went out and found graduates of the center, all of whom are what we would call now basic middle class, the beginning of middle class, but productive people with what Father Halligan says you're supposed to have, the dignity God intended all of us to have. They've been raised up to where they've got the dignity you and I have.
So they, I come to the center and I take a shower, you have 3 meals there, so I'm not going hungry, and I'm taking a shower. And I learn a trade. Do I learn a trade?
Yes, you go to school. All ages go to school. Most of our parents who come with their children are illiterate, so the parents are also going to school. Their little ones are in daycare. Their, grade school and teenagers are in school. They're also working. Half the day they're working, half the day they're in school, and eventually they get to the point where they're a teen and they can learn a trade. They can be an auto mechanic, they can be a carpenter, they can be a beautician, they can be a baker, etc. And that way they can graduate from our school, learn, work in their trade, and if they want to, and many of them do, pursue university education. And so they'll work part-time and they'll go to school part-time, and they're out of our program at that point. They're getting their own education, paying for it themselves, not like many U.S. students who can just go full-time for 4 straight years, but they have enough money and they can support themselves to do that.
What does the physical center, because I'm picturing, where do you teach all these people, and what rooms are there, and what does the daycare look like?
People have to know that all of these families live in their own very, very
humble,
basic, yes.
Right.
When we take groups down, that's the thing that impacts them the most, how the people live. But that's that from which they're trying to escape by getting an education. And so the center, all the people who go with us remark that it's much broader than what they anticipated. It's a really great trade school. We have 3 sites, actually, and the people are there till late at night, and when you go see where they live, you can understand why they don't mind being at the center from 6 o'clock in the morning for their shower till 9 o'clock at night, because it's a good place to be. But it's a very large, center number 2 is much bigger than Marquette High, for example. People would know, it's not some little
fly-by-night on the dirt road.
No,
and he started from nothing there.
Yes, started in the attic of the Compania, which is a Jesuit church in Quito. That's where
amazing.
Father started.
Does he say Mass? Do they? Is there a spiritual component?
Yes, Mass is offered every day for anyone who wants to come. Like Padre says, we call him Padre, for everything a family would need. When you think about what your family has here, we offer all of that to our families who are part of the center.
That's amazing. I just keep thinking of Pope Francis. We are so excited to spread the deposit of faith that we have with other people through doctrine, through teaching, through catechesis, through the new evangelization. But there's orthodoxy and orthopraxis, and they go together. And so what also catechizes people is just witness. And that's what you're talking about, Pat, when you take people over, that witness slams you right in the face, because that is being Jesus, and those people bring Jesus to you, I'm sure, too. If someone is listening, they want to get to know more about it, your work, about the Working Boys Center, celebration of your 50th year, they're going to go to your website. Let's say I wanted to give some money. I thought, this sounds exactly like something that I want to support. I don't have much money, but I'd like to give some money to the Working Boys Center. How can they do that?
They can do that right through our website, and we welcome them to do that right on the front page. There's a big pink button that says Donate Now, so they can do that electronically.
And if I gave $100, what would happen to my $100? What do you use? Do you send it? Do you mail it over? I don't know how this works. I'm not a charity. Does it go straight to Father? How does it work?
Yeah, if it isn't even if it's online, Jim, my husband, takes the money to the bank, and we wire it to Quito. Father Halligan has an account on which he writes checks. That account is at the Elm Grove Bank. He didn't want to bank his money there because things happen in South America and suddenly it can disappear. So it's actually at the Elm Grove Bank.
Okay. And then you wire the money to
every
him.
week.
And so if I give money, I can be sure that the money is going to go to help these people in a tangible, real way. Right?
And you'll get a letter, your tax letter, of course, but you also, Father Halligan has always wanted to write a letter to everybody, and he does. We send, we send an account of your name. If you gave 100, every check we get, he gets a notice once every 2 weeks, and then he writes you a letter.
That's amazing. Lastly, we're so excited that you've been going for 50 years, but of course we're excited for your next 50 years. You're chained to the chair now, Patricia, because you got things to do. But we're thankful to God and give praise to Him for the whole Park family. They're a blessing and a real witness. Are there any events that you'd like to invite people to around the Working Boys Center before we leave as a last invitation to our listeners?
Well, down at Marquette University, August 8th, 9th, and 10th, we're going to be hosting our 50th anniversary event. The largest part of that will be Saturday night, August 9th. Once again, all that information's on our website, and everyone's welcome. We hope to fill the ballroom with 550 attendees.
Start with Mass.
Yes, and Mass will be on Saturday night. Friday night we have a casual gathering, and Sunday another casual
What time's
gathering.
Mass?
4:30.
So 4:30 on August 9th.
Correct.
Okay. And we can we can buy our tickets
It'll be online. Right now the tickets haven't gone for sale yet, but they will be soon.
They'll go fast, listeners. They'll go really fast.
And many people from Ecuador will come for this event.
That's
Directors
so
of
exciting.
the center will come, Ecuadorians.
Oh my goodness. Well, this was a treat. You were on my list, and I, when we heard we were going to have a radio show, I immediately thought of the Working Boys Center because, frankly, there's so many good things in our archdiocese that people don't hear about that are going on every day. So we have to get those things, bubble them up to the top. Thank you so much. Pat Parks, woman extraordinaire, slave to the cause. Patricia Jessup, Executive Director, thank you so much. Thanks for being our guests.
Thank you for having us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will dive into the mailbag. You are listening to The Nazareth Project on Relevant Radio.
If you can picture it, American Landscape can make it happen. You can rest assured that the haven you have in mind can happen with American Landscape. Transform an ordinary yard into an outdoor living space everyone will love. Since 1973, American Landscape has been serving residential and commercial property owners with certified professionals. Go to relevantradio.com, keyword landscape. relevantradio.com, keyword landscape.
If you've just started listening to AM 1640, welcome to the new station, covering all the counties of the Archdiocese. If you're a business owner, your message could be airing right here, right now. With 2 stations delivering the Nazareth Project and other great shows all weekend, your message will be heard by thousands of potential customers. Build awareness, brand your business, and drive traffic. Contact is easy. Send an email to businessbuilding@relevantradio.com.
We are back with the Nazareth Project on Relevant Radio and your host, Lydia Lococo.
Welcome back to the Nazareth Project, faith, marriage, and family talk for the everyday Catholic. It's time for our mailbag. Remember, you can send me your questions by calling our dedicated voicemail, 414-758-2241. Just leave me your first name and parish, along with your question, or you can be anonymous. Anonymous sounds so much more mysterious, doesn't it? You can also email me at nazarethproject@archmail.org. So let's dive into our question today. I have a question, and this is what it says. We're all gearing up for the start of a new school year. Can you believe it? Unbelievable. We're in the middle of August, and it's got me thinking. I'm overwhelmed with 3 kids getting ready to board that big yellow bus. How did you manage back to school, quote unquote, with 8 children? Well, that's kind of a loaded question, don't you think? That is, first of all, I just want to say to all of you smarty pants out there, don't underestimate the fear that is in the hearts of every mother working or stay at home in every pew in every church in every county of this archdiocese, because I tell you, back to school is not for the faint of heart. It is bigger than it sounds. It's like everything, like weddings, like children. Back to school is like this machine. So you have to, my advice is, and I have a few things I want to talk about, my advice is you have to really be in control. Don't let it control you. You control the back to school. So you want to be intentional, and you want to take yourself, you may not receive a paycheck, but let me tell you, ladies, you are a professional, and you run a home. And I did try to really take time and be organized about how, and I started about mid-August, how to approach back to school. So we're going to talk about, real quickly, calendar, clothes, backpacks, lunches, paperwork, carpools, because that's back to school, really. Calendar. Well, I mean, I did have a lot of kids. I mean, I have 4 boys and then I have 4 girls. And they were in 12 years. And at one point, you can imagine you had 6 in the grade school for a few years. And then we always had 3 in high school at a time. So that it was a pretty chaotic, but we managed it by, don't think I'm totally crazy, color coding for calendars actually is a great thing. You have 3 different colors for 3 different kids. And if you're plotting it out on your Outlook, on your laptop, or on your dry erase calendar. I used to do 3 months at a time. It was a 3-month thing, and I could always see ahead. It kind of led me to be a pretty good project planner. I'm a big believer in color coding, and I've given this idea to other people, and they actually have used it, and it really does work. You could also do boys or girls if, there was one point in my life where we did just boys and girls because of our sex-segregated family. Clothing's a big deal, especially if you go to a public school, because it's that race in the morning. It's dirty. I don't have anything to wear. My pants. I thought your pants were here. They're wadded up under their bed. So I hate to say lay out your clothes at night the night before. Everyone knows that. But you know what? Lay out your clothes the night before. Have a hook or something, a special crate or something where you can glance in the room when you're saying your night prayers and say, did you lay out what you're wearing tomorrow? Saves a lot of time in the morning. Backpacks. Place for backpacks. They come in from school, the backpack gets cleaned out immediately. You don't let them dump it and have the snack. Nope, we're going to go through the backpack right away. Where's your homework? What is trash? Here's the smushed banana. Get that cleaned out, hang it on its hook, get it ready for the next day. You got to be military about the backpack. Lunches at night. Somebody's job has got to be lunches at night. And like I said, we, had 8 paper bags. Sandwich, cookie. But that's someone that an older middle schooler would be very good. That's a great job for them. Touch paper one time. If you worked at a business and you have paper coming in and out of your office, you would learn to have an in and out box and you'd touch paper at one time. I have a very good friend. She's a mother of 10. The paperwork gets so overwhelming. She once checked herself into a hotel just to catch up on her paperwork. I'm not kidding. The paperwork now, because we have printers, everything's just so much worse. There's more paper, not less paper. Touch paper once. If it comes in, deal with it, put it in the category where it goes or the correct file cabinet or whatever your system is. Don't chase it around and dig around for it. Touch it one time. Lastly, carpools. Ladies, we're all driving to the same place, and men. Carpool with other people. First of all, ecologically, it's ridiculous that we're all driving and we're not carpooling. Second of all, it's crazy because you are an intelligent parent. You went to college probably. You are too smart to think that mothering and parenting are all about driving the little wonder of the world, center of the universe around, 5 and 6 hours of your day. So carpool, band together, right? There's more of us than there are of them. And I think those little hints will help you get through back to school. Thanks so much for listening to our mailbag. That's it. And now it's time for What Really Matters. We are called as followers of Jesus Christ, certainly to combat poverty in our own homes and our own neighborhoods, working to carry out the mission of Jesus Christ, who said, to bring good news to the poor, who came to release the captives, to bring sight to the blind, and to let the oppressed go free. We are also, on a larger level, called to work to break the cycle of poverty, to offer a hand up, not just a hand out, by helping people participate in decisions that affect their own lives, their own families, and their own communities. Our impetus for outreach has to be born in the very knowledge and belief that we are all equal and equally loved as children of God, bestowed with our own unique dignity. In the end, that's what really matters. Thanks for joining us today on The Nazareth Project, Faith, Marriage, and Family Talk for the Everyday Catholic. Stay in touch with us on Facebook, Twitter, and on our website, thenazarethproject.com. Remember to call and leave messages for our mailbag at 414-758-2241. Today's show and our past shows are available online at thenazarethproject.com. Coming up next week, you can listen in on my visit with Chris Crawley of Life's Connection. She's an amazing woman doing amazing things here in our own archdiocese. I know you'll want to hear this show. Thanks for chatting this morning. I'm Lydia Lococo, and we'll see you next Friday. God bless your day.
You've been listening to the Nazareth Project on Relevant Radio. Tune in next Friday morning at 9 for more faith, marriage, and family talk with Lydia. And for more information about today's guests and topics, visit thenazarethproject.com.